Power Flow designed specifically for men. I hope this helps get you motivated and excited about doing yoga. We're going to get right to it. So we don't have a ton of time. We're going to start with our knees in toward our chests. And then we're going to roll back one vertebrae at a time and find our way onto our mat. Next, we have our knees bent. We have our sacrum lowered to the floor. So we're removing the arch in our spine. We're tucking our hips underneath us. You can see I'm gently using my hands to make this movement happen. And then, like train tracks, we're going to move our feet so they're inner hips width distance apart. That's a mouthful. You're going to place your hands by side body. You can have one hand to heart, one hand to belly. And then begin with some Ujjayi breathing. In through the nose for 4. Hold at the top. And then slowly release your breath. If you need a count, 6 is ideal, but you can go at your own pace. In through the nose. Pause at the top. Release your breath. 2 more. Deep inhale through the nose. Pause at the top. Slowly release. And last one. Pause and release. Next, we're going to place our hands by side body if they aren't already there. Blink your eyes open if you had them closed. We're going to extend our left leg forward onto our mat. We're going to hug our right knee in towards our chest. And you can round your head, neck, and shoulders up. You can lift your left leg off of your mat into this yogi roll-up crunch position. You can extend your arms forward toward your heel. Try not to put too much strain on your head, neck, and shoulders. If you've lifted them off the mat, your gaze or drishti can actually move toward the ceiling and hold. And don't forget to breathe. A few more breaths here. On your next exhale, lower your left leg down. Take one more hug of your right knee and then replace your right leg down. Let's try the other side. We're going to hug our left knee in toward our chest. Give yourself a big squeeze. You can roll yourself up and lift your leg. Again, try and not put too much strain on your neck. You can change this by just moving where you're looking. That's too much for you. Feel free to lower your hands by side body and just hold. You'll actually feel this in your lower abdomen. A few more breaths. On your next exhale, lower your right leg. Give your left knee one gentle squeeze and then place your left leg down. Let's roll up and find a seated position. Our knees bent. I'm getting you in and out of asanas or postures smoothly. You're going to cross your ankles. You're going to hear this a lot in your yoga practice. You're going to hinge forward and you're going to make your way to a tabletop position. So again, nice lines here. Your fingers are splayed underneath your shoulders. You can have a slight bend in your elbows. and your knees and hips are aligned. So we're going to take some cat-cows. On your inhale, round inward. Look toward your belly button. On your exhale, gaze comes forward and up. Let's do 4 of these. Inhale. Gaze this toward your belly button. This is your cat. You're rounding your spine. Exhale. Move your gaze forward and look up. 2. Big inhale, round your spine slowly. Exhale. And last one. Inhale. Everything comes in and up. And exhale. We're going to make our way to a plank position. I'm moving my right leg toward the back of the mat, left leg to meet it. Find your plank, slight bend in your elbows. Same position except for your legs are now elevated. This is too much for you this morning. Feel free to drop your knees and hold. Bend your elbows by side body for 2. Re-straighten your arms for 2. We're just doing 2 of these. Bend your elbows in and re-straighten. Instead of coming down, we're going to tuck our left hand in toward our midline. We're going to scoot on our feet so the blades of our feet are in line. The right foot is in front of the left. We're going to find Vashisthasana side plank. Right arm is up to the sky. If you'd like more this morning, you can raise your right hand up overhead. Your gaze goes up toward the ceiling or your elbow and hold. Should be feeling a great side body stretch on your right side. If you took your arm up overhead, raise it up toward the ceiling. Pause for a moment and then take your hand down to center and find your plank position. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to lower our elbows, bend our elbows for 2. Re-straighten the arms for 2. We're just doing 2 of these. Bend your elbows for 2. Pause. Re-straighten. Let's get to our Vashisthasana side plank smoothly and easily. So we're going to tuck the right hand underneath our midline. We're going to turn toward the front of our mat, the long skinny edge of the mat. We're going to have our feet aligned, left leg in front of right, and we're going to raise our left hand up to the sky and hold your side plank. I brought my arm up and over. We usually like to even everything out. So if you did it on the other side, let's try it on this one. Gaze goes up and over. If you have your arm up because that feels good, totally fine. More breaths. Arms straight up to the sky. Left hand comes down. Plank position. Hips up and back. Downward facing dog. So take up a lot of room on your mat this morning. You can see I have a really long downward facing dog. Your feet are facing toward your hands, the top of the mat. Want to try and push your heels as far down as possible. Just take a few minutes here to breathe. Don't lift your head up. Drop it down. Slight bend in your elbows. And breathe. When you're ready, look forward. And start to walk your feet toward your hands at the top of your mat. And you arrive, bend your knees slightly. I'm doing small pedals, my feet. You can grab your elbows, hinge at the waist, drop forward. If this is too much, you can plant your hands on your thighs and just dangle. Let the blood rush to your head. It's like taking an inversion. On your inhale, halfway lift. So we're straightening out our backs. You can have your hands on your shins or grazing the floor. On your exhale, forward fold. Root to rise, come all the way up. Arms sweep out toward the side, the room up to prayer. And dive over slightly bent knees on your exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. We're going to plant our palms, take a big step back with our right foot. So we're in this low lunge position. Left leg meets the right at the back of the mat. And let's move through a chaturanga. You can drop your knees. You can do chin, chest, baby cobra, cobra. Let's start with that today. I'm going to tuck my toes. I'm going to lift like someone's pulling my hips toward the back of the room, pushing them back, downward facing dog. Let's do the same thing we did. So we're going to step our feet toward our hands at the top of the mat. We're going to halfway lift. On our inhale, exhale, forward fold, root to rise. Come all the way up, sweep your arms out and up to the sky, dive over bent knees, forward fold, halfway lift on your inhale, plant your palms, big step back with your left foot. I like to adjust my feet here so I really feel the proper alignment in my low lunge. Never want the knee to track over your toes, so in this 90-degree angle. Right leg scoops back, move through your chaturanga. Arms bend by side body, roll yourself up, gaze comes up. Almost like a modified plank, hips up and back, downward facing dog. I'm ready to hop. If you're not ready to hop, take a big step with your right or left foot and another step with your left foot. So a hop looks like this. And rise high on your tiptoes, bend your knees, and jump toward the top of your mat. Halfway lift on your inhale, forward fold, root to rise. Come all the way up, dive over bent knees, forward fold. Halfway lift, we're flowing now. Plant your palms. If you're ready to hop back, you're in crow position here. And you're going to jump back with bent elbows, or you can take 2 steps back and find plank. So if you're hopping back, you want to go through your chaturanga low, upward facing, hips up and back, downward facing dog. So you can do a step or hop, high on tiptoes, bend your knees, jump forward, halfway lift, forward fold, root to rise, all the way up. Let's sit into our chair. So hips come back. Again, you can see how I tuck my hips under, remove the curvature from my spine. Arms are reached as far up as possible, hugging your biceps toward your ears, and gaze can come up. Remember to breathe. A few more breaths here. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. So now we're going to do some sun salutation Bs. Plant your palms, hop back through your chaturanga or step. Upward facing dog. When I say upward facing dog, you can see how I'm lifting my thighs off of my mat, always having a slight bend in my elbows. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. High on tiptoes, bend your knees, hop to the top, or step to the top. Halfway lift, forward fold, root to rise, find chair. Over bent knees, forward fold, halfway lift, plant your palms, hop back through your vinyasa, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. We're going to come forward and step into a high crescent lunge. So your hips are facing forward, your feet are facing forward. You want to have your feet a little bit separated so you can find good stability and balance. Arms up to the sky. Move through your vinyasa. So here you're going to step back to plank. Bend your elbows. Upward facing dog. Hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Left side. Left leg comes forward. Find your balance. Root to rise. Tuck those hips. Raise your arms by your ears. Take a breath here, then come back down on your exhale. Plant your palms. Left leg goes to meet the right. Chaturanga. Halfway lift. Up dog. Hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Take a breath. High under tiptoes. Step, step, or float toward the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Root to rise. Find your chair. Arms can be up. You can be in prayer. You can drop your seat lower. Remember to breathe. It's good for your mind. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Plant your palms. Hop back. One more here for our sun bees. Upward facing. Hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Right leg comes forward. Crescent lunge. Root to rise. Arms come up. Getting our heart rate up. Vinyasa. Upward facing. Downward facing. Left leg forward. Find stability. Root to rise. Arms reach up. Come back down on your exhale. Find your plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. High on tiptoes. Walk to the top. Skip to the top. Whatever feels right for you. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Root to rise. Come all the way up. Now we're going to do some eagle poses. This is a little bit more challenging. You're going to raise your right knee to the sky. My hands are on my hips, and bring them to prayer at heart center. Some men might find this a little bit challenging, but it's good for balance. So you can take figure four, like a figure four chair on the right side. Sit back and breathe. If you're advancing your posture and you want to utilize your arms, you tuck the right arm underneath the left. Find eagle arms. You raise them up so they're in line with your shoulders. And breathe. Sometimes I like to rest my hands on my third eye. You can do a kickstand with your right leg and sit lower in your chair. Or if you want the fullest expression here, you can wrap your right leg around your left. Arms come up, and you can hinge forward at the waist to find your sleeping eagle. Don't fall asleep. Let's unravel ourselves. Arms or legs, I don't care. Shake it out. You worked hard. All right, let's try the other side. So what did we do? We lift our left leg up. You can cross it over your right leg, sit back like you're sitting in a chair. You could hang here. This is nice. You can grow your arms. You're growing your branches and breathe. Other options, if you took your eagle bind, left arm goes underneath right. Raise your arms up so they're in line with your shoulders. If you're falling out of it, tuck or tap your left foot to the right side of your right leg. It's like twister, a tongue twister. If you want to go for the bind, your left foot is going to wrap itself. There's always one leg that's better than the other. It's my right leg, but I can get in there. Underneath my right leg, raise my elbows up, hinge forward. If you do everything slowly, you might be able to find something you didn't think you could do. So, sleeping eagle. Breathe. Unwind, unravel. Almost done. Good job. We're gonna find our way to downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet. Let the blood return to your legs. Rise on your tiptoes. Bend your knees. You're gonna hop forward. A lot of women are more flexible. So if you're here, you're gonna lower your seat to the ground. Find your seated position. Sit up tall. Breathe. Instead of pigeon, we're gonna tuck our left foot under our right and try and take your right foot and cross it over the left. You should feel a really good stretch in your psoas. I'm going to give you a second to get there. You're going to raise your right arm up to the sky, and then you're going to hook your right elbow over your right leg. Left hand is over your left shoulder, the back of the mat, and twist. So seated twist on your left side. Let's do the reverse. So coming out, right arm reaches up, straighten toward the front of the mat. Take your left arm, you can reach it up, place it in front of your right leg, and turn and try and look over your right shoulder. A few breaths here. Come around towards center. Unravel your legs. This time you're going to take your right foot, tuck it underneath your left leg. You can physically move your left leg around your right knee. If this is too much, you can open up the position or feel it differently. We're going to raise our right arm, cross it over the right knee, looked over our left shoulder. Go the other direction. Right arm comes up, lowers down, left arm reaches up, and then hook over the left leg, gazing over the right shoulder. Come back to your seated position. We're going to roll our way to our backs, our knees bent. Instead of going through bridge and full wheel, our hands behind your head, slightly raise your head, neck, and shoulders off the mat. And we're gonna bicycle out our legs. So the right knee's bent, left leg straight, left elbows to right knee, and switch. Tap. You can go at your own pace here. A few more. Yoga's about breathing. Don't forget your Ujjayi breathing in through the nose, especially when you're building momentum. More. Legs come up toward the sky. Really try and flex your heels. Still have my hands behind my head, elbows out to the side, and then lower your legs slowly all the way to the mat. Inhale, exhale. Bring your knees in. Give yourself a well-deserved hug. Let's rock our knees together toward the left side of the mat, the room. You can cactus your arms. You can straighten your arms into a T. Supine twist on the left. Your head turns toward your right hand. When you're ready, knees scoop up, and let's just roll ourselves and do the other side. So knees drop to the right. Your arms can be cactus or in a T, and your gaze looks over your left hand. You don't want to raise your shoulder up. You want to try and lower it gently onto your mat. You've reached the end of your practice. Thanks for joining me. Lower your legs. Drop your arms by side body, palms facing up. Close your eyes. Find Shavasana. Start to wiggle your toes, your fingers, whatever movement feels good to you. When you're ready, make your way up to your seated position with your legs crossed. Let's keep our eyes closed. You can open them if you want, if you need to know what's going on. Blink your eyes open. A few more breaths. Be thankful for what you've accomplished. It was fast and fierce. Thank you for joining me this morning. Namaste.